Hey guys, welcome to another Sunday here on 7SOGs. Wow, we have had a lot of discussion this week, so I'm going to try to keep this short and still get to all the questions. So, Ryan, you asked, do you think this tripartite categorization of human sexuality, gay, straight, bi, is an oversimplification of sexuality, and if so, how do you think such notions are constraining towards identity? Wow, that is a question. Of course, I think that the categorization of just like gay, straight, and bi is an oversimplification of sexuality. Sexuality is fluid; it's a spectrum. The problem is that you can't really articulate that simply in like social context. So we've come up with these simplified, terms just to make things easier. There's talk about stereotypes, and I feel the same way about stereotypes as I do about these labels. Um, and you guys have touched on this too, but like we come up with these stereotypes and labels to help us just deal with stuff that we don't have time to otherwise, analyze. We don't have time to like deal with every individual person and situation and like just analyze it down to the last detail. The problem, of course, is when we mistake these labels and stereotypes for constant, unchanging facts. These things are tools that we've developed to help us with our understanding, and we shouldn't let them take the place of our actual analytical facilities. Moving on, Becky, why do you think it's important for us to have a queer community, or do you think it isn't? It is important for us to have a queer community, just to have a support group and like have a common bond and union. On the other hand, it's not a good thing to kind of ghettoize ourselves, marginalize ourselves, and just solely concentrate in a gay community. That's why I don't really like hanging out in like the gay neighborhood. Like there's this gay neighborhood called Nichome here in Tokyo. I have a lot of friends who go all the time. I don't really like to go all that often just because I don't think it's that great of a place on its own. Like I don't think the clubs are that great, or the bars are that great, and I don't think that it being just by it being like the gay place is not enough of a reason for me to want to go. And lastly, you asked what sort of guys, girls are you into? um, I'm actually kind of into like pretty boys, like cute boys. Um, I just kind of want to like someone I can protect. I also really like kind of weird guys. Like geeks and nerds, people who are a little idiosyncratic or not conventionally cool. There's just I don't know. There's something really attractive about like weird, cute guys. Peter, if you asked if you could have dinner with anybody in the world, whom would it be and why? I think I'd probably want to have dinner with maybe Brian K. Vaughan, who is one of my favorite comic book writers. Either him or the Wonder Girls. Yeah. Guy, you asked, what are your thoughts on gay hate within the gay community? I myself have never had a personal experience with it the way you have. And this could probably be said of any minority, really, like, racial minorities or women. You, it's not really, it's really counterproductive for us to be hating on each other because that just makes it okay for other people to hate on us. Like what is the point of gays hating on gays in the community? Um, you know, it's one thing to just joke around with friends and be like, "Oh, shut up, faggot," because like sometimes people are okay with that, like on an individual basis. But to just like call that to someone you don't know, like that guy you were in, like who was applying for the job, totally unacceptable. So my question this week, I'm not sure if all of you guys are aware, but recently there was a raid on a gay bar in Atlanta by police. No one had anything. No one had any drugs. No one had a parking ticket. I think eventually some of the go-go dancers were arrested for dancing in their underwear without a permit, which I think is the dumbest reason to get arrested ever. Point is, like stuff like this still happens. I was discussing this with another gay guy I know, and his opinion is that because today's because the current attitude that a lot of gays have now is one of just like complacence and fitting in. His words, not mine. We've kind of brought this on ourselves, and we've lost the right to complain about this because we're not actually doing anything to actively fight against it. He's a kind of a really radical gay activist type, which I respect, even though I myself am not. What are your thoughts on that? Like, when stuff like this happens, what is the proper response? Like, did we deserve it? Are we not doing enough, like activism wise? What are your thoughts? Anyway, I'm looking forward to hearing you guys' responses and seeing all your videos. Have a great week.